Alright, ready? I'm gonna wait till we get going forward just a tad. I'm gonna get tangled to that line. That's good. Welcome back, everybody. I am loading up the spear gun, about to head down to the bottom. We are in 100 feet of water at this dive site, and just loading up the gun, bombing the bottom at a pretty fair pace. I normally just empty out all the air in my BC and then just swim at an easy pace down to the bottom. Sometimes I can spot fish that are just kind of off guard immediately if I drop down faster, which turns out to be my favorite. But I'm hunting red snapper, and there's several pyramids on this spot. It's a pretty cool spot. The one on the right of me, it's got that little pipe right there actually sticks up about 25 feet from the bottom, which is pretty nice. And here we go. This is the first red snapper I see. It lines right up for me. Get a stone shot on it, which is, what I want. And then if you pay attention, you'll notice that I go to brain the fish anyways. I pull my knife out and go to kill it. Sometimes I notice when I shoot these fish, like, you can look at their eyes, and if they're looking around still, then they're not stoned. So maybe I spine the fish, and before I put them on a stringer, I like to dispatch the fish before I stick that stringer through their head. I just feel like it's a little bit more humane. Appreciate the life it gave me. So yeah, there we go. He's dispatched. Put the knife away. And this is my first trip of the season, so I'm kind of fresh or kind of green here, and it's taken me a little bit longer than I would like to get some of the stuff done, but hey, this is part of it. I'm having fun. The limit is 2 in Florida, in the Gulf here, so I can get 2 red snappers. So this is the first one of the day. Pretty decent size as well. It's not the biggest, but it's a healthy looking red snapper right there. And my buoyancy is kind of bouncing up and down. I do like to shoot a fish and then bounce up 30 feet. I'm not sure if it's... My thought behind it is that I'll burn less air if I go up a little bit. Sometimes if I'm not paying attention, I can go a little too far up. But so you just got to be aware of what I'm doing. But I'm obviously probably 50 feet off the bottom right now, middle of the water column. So just kind of scoping it out. It also allows me to get a vantage point. Usually the sharks are at the bottom, and the fish are usually towards the bottom as well. I mean, the red snapper, they're kind of all over the water column from the middle to the bottom. And on some of these dives, they followed me all the way up to the boat. I wish I had some bait, some rod and reel. I could have pitched some bait at them. But then just gonna look around and see what else I can find. These are some beautiful looking pyramids. There's a lot of life on them. Lots of AJs, red snapper. I think there was a scamp grouper at the beginning of the dive. Little guy. There's a couple of snapper coming in here. A couple guys coming in. I like that guy on the back, but I took that one right there. So sometimes it is how it is. You're aiming for a stone shot and they're moving. But this is a nice healthy fish as well, but bigger than the first fish. So first things first, pull out the knife, dispatch this guy because the sharks are going to be coming in here looking for this guy. I love it when you can tell by the look of his face, he's got that older look to him, like right above his lip, there's like a hump right there because he's just bigger and older. So I could tell it was just from looking at his face that it's a bigger fish for sure. For sure. And he's holding on just by the flesh there, so luckily he didn't put up too much of a fight, and I was able to get him wrangled in and in my hand. See, I'm bouncing up off the bottom here a little bit. Kind of gives me some space. Usually the sharks will kind of hang out at the bottom and keep a little bit of a distance, but my thought is if I'm chilling on the bottom, I could be totally wrong on this. It's just I'm trying just to experiment a little bit, but maybe it's worth it just to see. There we go. There's a bully. There's one bull shark right there. This is the Gulf, so those ain't reef sharks. Like it's always bull sharks you're seeing here. Cruising slow. They're fat. They got that stocky build. Those are bull sharks for sure. But luckily he's not darting around. He's not getting too crazy. They're obviously not too agitated. They're just coming in to check out the spot, see what's going on. Check the gauge. You know, if you dive enough, you should have an idea of how long you can spend down just off the top of your head at each depth, but it's a good idea to check your gauges if you're not too used to that. Just keep that gauge cluster close to you. As you can see, there's two more sharks on the bottom right of the screen. So I think there was about 4 that I saw that came up on this dive. Just out of nowhere, they just bam, just pulled up real quick just to see what was going on. So they're always there. They're just lurking just behind my visibility. And I always tell people, I'm pretty sure they can tell how far I can see underwater because they're always just like right outside of my visibility. And I'm getting kind of bugged out just being, I have enough air where I can maybe look for some other fish to shoot, but I don't really want to swim around at the bottom with these 2 fish on me. So I'm pulling out this there we go. This is good footage of those guys. Device to send these fish up to the surface on the safety sausage, let my wife catch them. But I end up just fumbling around with this because it was my buddy's little setup and it really wasn't going to fit on what I had, and it ended up not actually working out. So ended up not doing it, but you gotta have your gear and know your gear pretty well. Sometimes if you use some of your buddy's stuff, it doesn't exactly work out. The clip wouldn't actually clip onto what I needed to clip onto, so I figured I would just go up from here. But yeah, there's 3 or 4 sharks at the bottom hanging out. So I figured it out. I got my limit, red snapper. That's what I came for, so that was pretty cool. And I figured I'd just end the dive like that.